like that.
We're on.
Okay, there we go. Hi, Sash. How are you doing?
Good, Chris. Good. How are you?
Nice to see you. I'm good, actually. Despite the Bitcoin dip, I'm good. I'm in a good mood, and I've got my Elastos t-shirt on to prove it.
Yeah, representing.
I've got bullish hair. So
yeah,
it's not quite.
I once had bullish hair, but that's long gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's not measure the ups and downs, the cycles of Bitcoin by your hair.
Yeah, it wouldn't be good if that's the case. We'd be in a pretty big bear market. But yeah, Chris, seeing you representing the Cyber Republic top there, it's awesome.
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's important, you know.
Yeah, I think yeah, before we start, we just say Joachim's not able to make today, but obviously he'll probably be with us next week.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so we'll just crack on anyway. And yeah, Cyber Republic, I think that's a good topic to talk about, in that we had lots of conversation around this recently because of Clarence's recent Travala suggestion or proposal. And there's really divided opinions all around. And it's kind of good. Again, conversation's great. People talking about this. And even within Orchard ourselves, we've been kind of undecided on which direction we want to go. We've been
it's a difficult one, isn't it? I mean, it's really polarized views, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And actually, as we record this, it's 4 votes yes and 4 votes no. We have yet to put a vote in. And I think, is it Yipeng and
Yipeng, TI and Witzer, I believe, who haven't voted.
No, I mean who haven't voted.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, right, okay.
Witzer and TI.
Yeah. So we are going to vote. We're going to vote this evening. And we have now decided which way. But we've had a big debate about it, actually. I mean, for me, it wasn't as simple as I thought it would have been. And actually, there's some really good arguments on both sides for and against the vote here. But ultimately, I don't know. I'm not going to say it because we're going to vote tonight. So you'll see. Well, I don't know. You'll see it anyway.
But this is what the Cyber Republic's all about. It's all about overall consensus. If there's a no, why is there a no? And then there's got to be value to that, because it's not about the individual's vote as much so as it is the overall collective consensus.
Well, did you write the poll, Sash? Was that you that put that up?
Yeah, I put a poll up. Yeah.
So I remember discussing it last week, and that was our proposal, wasn't it, to ask the community?
Yeah.
And it looks, I think, off the top of my head, is it 75% in favour? 73.
Yeah. So about just under 100 votes, and 75 are looking in favour. So, I mean, this is the exact kind of data that we need, especially if we're undecided and we haven't found consensus within our own kind of council seat. But actually, ultimately, we need to listen to the community and ask their feedback and hear their opinions, and that can help guide our decisions. And sometimes we might say, well, in light of that community vote, we still feel very passionate to do this. And it's always going to be in the benefit or in the belief that we're doing it in the best interest of Elastos. And
that is absolutely the point.
And I think that's really important. So there's two sides. There's the representing the community, but also when you get voted in, do you really care about Elastos, and do you care about the vision and in protecting it? And if you want to have those kind of people in there. So we've thought long and hard about this. We've got a vote which we'll put through, and you'll probably either by the time you see this, it will have gone through, or it's already taken place if this is uploaded on Monday. But certainly it's been a debate, and in the council chats, we've got WeChat and in Telegram, the council chats, and it's very divided. People have passionate opinions about it, I just think passion is great. Whether it just shows people care, and it shows that there's conversation. So it's good.
Exactly, and it's been a catalyst for more conversation in the council site than anything else recently. So it's been a good debate, and well, let's just see where we go with it. I'm not going to say anything else on it now.
But no, apart from that, everything seems to be doing good. Last week, I think Chris and we were talking about how great everything is, looking at $15 ELA and how we're going to the moon. And here we are now down at 7. So welcome.
I mean, I think did it bounce off 6, I think, didn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's bounced. And I'm going to say, a hard bounce, because I like to think that we're now going to start.
I think that is the bottom. Well, oh God, I can't believe I said that. But I mean, I think this is what I've been listening to in the Bitcoin world. So Willy Woo has been talking, a lot of Michael Saylor's been talking about it. Loads of really good people who I respect have been talking about Bitcoin and the price. And the average at the moment is this is a a dip to be expected. It's nothing surprising. It's not actually that great. It will last between 4 and 12 days, and then we'll see it go off again. And, you know, there are lots of people talking about all the different measures that people are looking at in the technical analysis on the charts. And, you know, we've crossed some lines, and we've gone from red to white, and we've done all sorts of other things on different people's charts. But ultimately, a lot of those are created retrospectively anyway. You know, they're moving averages, and, you know, they just, and of course in 3 months time they will have changed. So I think the macro picture, which we talked about last week, is so different from before, actually, that I'm not worried about this at all. Actually, I bought, in fact, I have to say I bought just a little bit, you know, on, I don't know what day it was, Wednesday maybe. And if I had some more money, I would buy ELA at this point. I mean, you know, buy the dip, man.
So, yeah, it really is. I mean, it's a flash sale and an opportunity to get in. Not financial advice.
No, exactly.
Certainly, I'm with you, Chris. I like to use these as opportunities to get some more. And, you know, it's great to be a macro thinker and look at the big picture. And in this picture, I think we're about to see, you know, a huge bull run still continue. And it will probably last, you know, well, it could last until either the end of this year or onwards, from my opinion. It's hard to imagine.
A super cycle argument.
Yeah, well, it's really hard to imagine that, you know, we're going to see a macro or see a long bear market where money is getting more powerful against cryptocurrencies, because
I agree.
2017, we didn't even have staking wallets as a feature.
And
here we are now with decentralized finance. We're moving into NFTs. We've got, which again, NFTs I think are a bit of a bubble, but we're seeing real innovation in the space, and we're seeing, you know, 3-4 years now of actual building having taken place from the previous bull cycle. So and a monetary system and a traditional system.
Well, at the same time, that is failing and collapsing. You're absolutely right. The technology is astounding. If you think back to 2016, 17, oh my God, it was so difficult to do anything. Just buying Bitcoin was tricky. And now you're seeing, as you say, all of these amazing opportunities and staking and liquidity pools. You know, that whole world of DeFi is now bringing very new people and with new considerations into the market. Amazing.
We've had some real conversations about this in the Guardians, and you know, for quite a few of us agreed that we can't imagine this bear market taking place like it had previously. And some macro thinkers say, you know, think of the crypto, at least as Bitcoin, as almost like with each halvening, it's moving further and further away from a gravitational pull that a planet might have, and eventually it will just leave that force and it will float away. And could this be the cycle in which we see Bitcoin just run away and it just continues up, and it sees massive global adoption, likewise with all the Web3 tech stacks underneath it. But then on the flip side, you see Dogecoin and you see bloody, you know, Safe
or Super Moon Coin or whatever.
Oh my God, like you see them fly and you just think there's no hope.
Well, and there was some guy tweeting this morning about the fact that he put 90% of his life savings into Dogecoin, thinking it would go to a dollar, and has lost all his money or leveraged it or something. And you just think, I mean, there's so much immaturity in the space as well. And you look at Elastos, I mean, it's a classic example, isn't it, where people have not looked at market cap. They haven't looked at number of coins. They don't understand inflationary versus deflationary tokenomics. And they don't really know what they're investing in. I mean, it's a warning, isn't it? In fact, I think we gave a warning out last week too, but you know, if you don't know what you're investing in, then, you know, be very wary. Certainly don't throw more eggs in than you can afford to lose.
Yeah, I think from a Gen Z, I believe that's correct, the younger generation's perspective, they weren't around and they didn't experience the previous cycle. And here we are now with TikTok, and you're seeing Gen Z getting, you know, basically promoted things like Safe Moon and these. And again, people do love Ponzi's and they love the opportunity to make money really fast. But the problem is when you make money really fast, you then think that that's a norm and you get emotional, you stay in.
Well, also, someone is losing money really fast, or lots of people are losing a bit of money really fast, even if you're making it fast.
Especially when, so I believe the founders, or at least there was 25 ICO members that got to buy Safe Moon, one that completely exploded recently. And they bought it at $500 a coin, and then that valued at the top peak of around 200 million each. So 500 to 200 million. And then someone like Australia, he's great at this stuff. He monitors and sees all the inflows and outflows of transactions all around the whole crypto space. And he's sending in just these screenshots of the founders just dumping 25 million, dumping just millions at a time on the market. And it's the people who have been sold it on TikTok that have bought it top that are just now losing all their money. And this is the game. So I'd much rather personally see steady growth that then goes into exponentially, a rocket ship of its own when you see real adoption take place. And again, if you're seeing as well, I know safe means deflationary, but especially something like Doge, there's no hard cap top. It's just consistently inflationary. And if you're seeing the effect that can have mooning, imagine what effect some of these Web3 suites will have that are deflationary when they finally get the demand coming in. And actually, you just think we are just at ground zero still. And this is yet to really take place.
I think you're right. I read quite a good article about Dogecoin this week. I think it was in the FT, Financial Times, although it might not have been. But the line was basically, this is ridiculous. Look at the price. It's unbelievable that it's rocketed like this, and it just should never be this valuable. As a shit coin. It's a dog. But the counter argument which he put forward, and I can't remember the author's name, the counter argument is, but it is that price, and there are people buying it, and actually that now says something about the coin and about tokenomics in itself, and about people's passions and about people's beliefs. And then the article went into a little bit about the fact that all money is based on belief of some sort. And so, you have to create that belief and sustain it.
It's so true.
But if a whole group of people are willing to invest in Doge because it's a meme, then actually that says something really interesting about what money is anyway, and about what people are prepared to invest in. And maybe we shouldn't just think of them as completely nuts, but rather, okay, so if you can do that with Dogecoin, what else can you do? How else can a movement be grown, and what else can you do with that passion and that energy of that community that can be brought together now in a way that it never could have been before? This is another one of those flipping points you were talking about, that make this very different from 2017. And actually, I think we're going to have to all start rethinking what we thought of as normal practice, because maybe Doge isn't an anomaly anymore, or maybe we should think of it as something other than just an anomaly. Anyway, that's a bit deep.
No, it's true though. Fen Hang, talks about this in saying that wealth is almost invisible, and it's the consensus that builds wealth. So the consensus that the US dollar is the global reserve currency is met on the basis that the US, for instance, has the most amount of nukes, or it's the superpower of arms, military kind of power, and then in doing so they get to retain this kind of global superpower which everyone agrees with. But actually, it's that consensus that is real wealth, and when that consensus shifts to something else, then wealth transfers with it. And you could argue that there's a consensus that Doge is valuable. You've got Elon Musk as a billionaire tweeting about it, and loads of younger generations buying into it, and it's showing then in the price. So again, for all we know, Doge will be getting traded on Mars at this rate, and we'll be living on the streets having bought in something we thought was valuable and it never turned into it.
I'm not sure it'll go that far, but who knows? I think that's the thing, nobody knows really. So all of these wonderful predictions could prove to be wrong, but
what an exciting journey it all is.
But it really is, yeah.
The downsides of crypto is as much so as why we love it, because of the upside. So this is what you into when you
well, and that's it. I don't think we have seen the last of this upside. So we're only 4 months into 2021. I think we've got a lot further to go, and I think, is it Raoul Poole? Yeah, he was saying the other day that everything has got times 200 written on it at the moment. Every single thing. It's not just Bitcoin or Ethereum, because there's just so few people in the market at the moment relative to the world population and the amount of value or wealth that there is in the world.
Yeah, guys like Raoul Poole and Preston Pish I mean, I love those guys because they're macro thinkers and they just
Yeah.
think of it from the big picture, and they're looking at the traditional world and bearing in mind someone like Raoul Paul. I mean, he used to work for, I believe, Morgan Stanley, and he knows how it all works, the banking and just how these corporate structures are set up. And he's looking at that and then looking at Bitcoin in the DeFi world and thinking, guys, like hasn't even begun yet. You know, there's
Yeah.
a whole load of money that's going to just fly across at some point, and that hasn't even taken place. So yeah, I would agree that
There's a segue in there. I'm going to pick up on that. You talked about his background in finance, and it just reminded me of one of our new advisors. So we have a lady called Luisa Romero joining us.
Yeah.
And her background is very similar, actually. She is from a financial background, as is another of our advisors, Saoirse Mulligan. And actually, we wanted people like that on our team because it's really important to understand that financial space in a way that we don't. You know, we're more from the creative side, actually. So recognizing that was a weakness, we wanted people in there to bring those strengths. And also, I think they're both poachers turned gamekeepers, or the other way around, gamekeeper turned poacher, even in this case. Or it depends what you think the establishment and banking should be, a poacher or a gamekeeper. I don't know. I think it's actually a poacher. So I would say we're turning them to the right, to the good side, and they're now becoming gamekeepers. But yeah, really good news. And we have a third as well, a lady called Gillian Godsill, who was on our webinar that we did the other day. So 3 new advisors. So we have a total of 6 now in for Cordial. This is and you'll see those on the new white paper and the website when we put that up later in the week.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, really, really strong set of advisors now. And we've had some amazing conversations, and we're, again, so Cordial being the knowledge marketplace we're looking to build where everyone can share knowledge fairly and be rewarded for it whilst retaining ownership. This is our big project that we're looking to move forward with, and we're pushing full steam ahead. Chris, you had a great list of things that we've achieved in the last week, and Gueco actually messaged today to say, guys, you need to slow down or you're going to burn yourselves out.
Yeah.
There's truth there.
Well,
I mean, we are moving.
It's very kind of him to say so, but we've got our main advisor on the other side, saying on the other shoulder, going, you have to work faster, you've got to work harder, it's all going to have to happen in this week, and there's much more to do. But I mean, what's great is that we've actually got someone like that who believes so strongly in us that they're willing to provide a decent chunk of our seed capital, and great
connections,
so many good connections. So I think they're going to accelerate what we can do by, I don't know, probably a factor of 10 or 20. So what has taken them 18 months or 2 years will take us a month or 2.
Yeah, I mean, we had an hour-long call with this individual, and he said, on a separate call, he said about that call that we had when we started up, to get the knowledge which I shared with you for that hour call, that cost us 3% of our token, share. And it's kind of like, yeah, cool. We really are lucky to have individuals who really care about what we're doing, but also are willing to help us. And from seed to private to incubation to IDO, we're looking like everything is now pretty much lined up. So our core focus really moves into, okay, so how are we going to build it? What's our tech stack? What elements do we bring in? We haven't really talked much about that. We've talked about the vision and what we want to build, but not necessarily who we're building with. Obviously, we really want to incorporate Elastos. We want to use it wherever possible. We have a great graph of all the different things we have. So where we can incorporate Elastos, we're going to try. And then where they can't be filled in, we're going to have to find other solutions. For instance, like a private blockchain, we need to have both public and private as options for people to go through. And Elastos can't offer that private. So we're moving into the next phase now, where we're going to really break down all the core components of our stack and see where can we use Elastos and where can we source the other things, and then what do we need to build, and then what's the money that we need to first prioritize to bring this all together. And that's a really important element, and we're going to have some great conversations, and we've already had some really great people reach out to us and help. And Benjamin from the Trinity team, we still want to have a real go down in a deep conversation with Donnie and talk about profile and DID solutions. And again, this has got to be a holistic kind of approach where we all can work together and create something special. So
yeah, I mean, we're being pushed on the one hand to actually decide for the for our launch and token sale what we build on, what we release the token on, at least anyway. But that doesn't actually determine what the whole ecosystem, or how the whole ecosystem is created. And that's where you and George, George being our CTO, are going to have such a good conversation or series of conversations next week with all of these people as well.
That's a really good point, Chris, because actually we haven't talked about that. We will be launching our token on the Ethereum network. That is not because we're building on Ethereum, but because that's the route that you go to get startup money, to build up attention and to build up excitement. And you use an IDO platform, for instance, loads of Polkadot or loads of Cosmos or other projects which are building on those networks. They actually start up raising money on Ethereum, and that's one of the biggest kind of functions it serves today, because it's kind of obviously Ethereum 2.0 is coming, but it's very expensive to build on Ethereum itself. But it's a great place with its network and its resources to actually raise money and to crowdfund. So you generally release your token on Ethereum, you raise your money, you offer liquidity mining there, and then so you have two things going. You have the platform that you're building, and then the actual tokenomics of offering financial services through liquidity staking and all of that good stuff. And you start on Ethereum, and then you can dot yourself to different networks for different liquidity mining solutions. And we're hoping to bring that to Elastos as well. And I think we're going to write a CRC proposal. Yeah. But regardless of where the token starts and what goes on there, that doesn't determine where the actual build happens. And that's where we talk about, okay, so we're going to leverage different networks for different things. And then we need to also figure out what we're building on. But it's, like that is.
And there's no, there's no promises to anybody at the moment. But as you say, we've got to be really pragmatic. We've got to look at what's available. And actually, because we're not just building an application, we want to build a protocol, a system that other people can build on. We're going to have to be really interoperable. But, we also are not forgetting, and we never will forget where we all started. And I think that's really important, isn't it? We are Elastos files, Elastophiles, through and through, actually. I suppose it goes back to the first conversation, for all of the argument, for all of the disagreement occasionally, it's about passion, isn't it? It's about supporting something you love and trying to give it constructive advice and trying to move it in the right direction and trying to be part of that overall team. But it's a very exciting week next week, because we're going to be looking at that technical development stuff. We've had an offer from, I think it was Greco, talking about developers, but somebody wrote that we need to focus on acquiring developers as a priority, and I think it was him. Absolutely spot on. That's where we are that's my biggest risk at the moment, actually, is how do we find developers, and if we could get some people on then in a team now to help us design the technical elements of it and to bounce those ideas off, then that would be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. Because we've got all our advisors, we've got our first draft white paper, which is actually getting updated. So that'll aiming to be out by the end of next week. We've got a great team of experts who have experience in the space. The element that we are missing right now then is developers, and actually the route in which we're going to go as far as building this stack and what comes first and what comes next, and prioritizing our first minimal viable product. But it's all coming together. And again, we hope that during this journey, we will share and be as transparent as possible about this process. And hopefully it will inspire, and also others will learn from it. Potentially they will want to go down this route. And don't forget that Elastos Orchard in itself was started as a way to help business development and to grow. We want to grow loads of trees, and Cordial is our first tree. But we want to do many more, and we have lots of other ideas. Community members were calling out the other day for Elasticity, as far as, and that was on the back burner, but certainly all our attention is on Cordial right now, but actually we hopefully can help others along our journey, and hopefully we'll also be able to bring other projects as time comes back to Elastos too.
And I don't think for us, I'm hoping that won't be too long. But we had to make a decision about where we put our time and effort, and I think it's the right decision, because we were talking, I think privately, this week when we were meeting a few new members, including Adam, who I've not mentioned, but in fact, I think I did talk about him last week, but he is a business creative, an innovator, and a media expert, and he's sort of come on board already. But we were having a conversation about the fact that for us, it does feel like all of our histories, everything that we've done in the past has been for a particular reason, and it sounds a bit I don't know, a bit far-fetched, but in my mind, everything that I've done until now, every experience that I've had almost has been to get us to this, or get me to this point. And I look at what George has done, and the serendipity with which he entitled his book, Cyber Republic, which brought us together, the fact that we reached out to him and had a conversation, the fact that we've got Adam on the team, you guys, I mean, everybody who's in it now, all of the advisors, everybody brings a little bit of that puzzle, and I think actually it's nearly complete, and therefore there's a bit of me that thinks this is absolutely going to happen, because there's nothing to stop it. All of the pieces have been brought together, and with the momentum that we've got as a team is spectacular. It's something, and our advisor coming along with seed funding, everything just seems to have dropped in place at the moment. So we hope to keep that going.
Yeah, and there'll be challenges, there'll be issues, but I completely agree. The excitement and momentum is there. And yeah, you did mention Adam last week, but I think from there since then, he's been working through our white paper, working through our vision, and he's coming up with a narrative of his own, which will help guide a motion graphic kind of video that we'll be able to create. And basically, how do we break this down? And as he put it, how can Aunt Agatha understand it? And that's kind of how we need to make it, so that no matter who you are, you can read and find out about what we're doing and just understand it, because we are our own worst enemies when it comes to lawyer talk and deflation and tokenomics and talking about smart contracts and all this complex stuff, which to us is like day to day fine, but to someone else it's absolute gibberish and no one understands it.
Well, the other thing where we're our worst own enemy is having all these wonderful ideas that just bolt on and keep bolting on until you've got this massive project. And George sent us all some reading to do about additive versus subtractive thinking, and it's subtractive thinking that we've got to be really clever at doing now. So removing all of the peripherals until you get right back down to the very essence and the core of what you're doing. And that's why that works in a narrative as well as the technical development side. So it's a grand vision of empowering everybody everywhere to create wealth from their knowledge and their reputation, but how you break that down and deliver it needs to be done really simply, and simplicity is king in that regard. So well, that's where we're moving to. It doesn't stop us building stuff onto it in the future, but I guess we can talk about that when it happens.
So, I mean, Chris, do you want to read out what we've actually done this week for Cordial?
Well, I think we've covered some of them. So the foundation, the Cordial World Foundation, which is going to be a little bit like the Elastos Foundation, except it's going to be functional. I didn't mean that wrong, sorry. The Elastos, so the Cordial World Foundation is going to be our treasury, but also it's going to be a legal entity in its own right. It's going to be based in the Netherlands, or it is based in the Netherlands, and it's going to be the arbiter of what happens in that ecosystem, and it will be the grant awarding body as well, so that when new projects do come along, if the project itself is making money and that's getting recycled back in, the foundation will be able to gift that out and to new businesses and to run hackathons and that sort of thing. So that's nearly complete. We've got 6 amazing advisors. That's done. We're a go for a token sale. We just don't know the dates yet, but don't do much in the 3rd or 4th week of May. We are considering running a program for university interns. Oh yes, so exciting. We've got 4 amazing students who have just we've been working with them on and off for a while. In fact, we've been working with students from Jochem's University in Utrecht for a long time.
Well over a year now.
But there's a whole load of them that are, these guys are the future, and they're so fortunate to be learning about blockchain and decentralization and Bitcoin and Elastos and so many other things at the moment. but they've offered to, or they just want to come and work and understand more about what we're doing. They're really inspired by Cordial and what we're trying to achieve there. And we think that we'll be able to run some form of internship for them over the summer, and then possibly employ them in the future, which would be a great way of starting to employ people rather than putting out dull adverts in newspapers. Let's
we've had the real benefit of having taught these guys. So a lot of these students we do in classes of around 7 students per class, and they've all been assigned, they've all had assignments, and they've been studying Elastos and the smart web, and some have been trying to figure out where Elastos Orchard sits in that kind of whole ecosystem, who we are and our identity, and which has been super helpful. And then others have just been looking at Elastos and how do you onboard different stakeholders and how do you bring them. So for instance, we've had a student looking at NGOs and how interviewing members in Elastos, but also interviewing loads of NGOs and understanding what are their pain points, what are the problems they have today, and how can Web3 help them, but then also how can we invite NGOs in really easily. And then it's really broad actually, from marketing, and they're all looking to have their hand-ins within the next month, I believe. So we're going to have a load of data coming in, which has been months of work that can help really benefit the Elastos ecosystem. Now within that, we've been teaching and talking about all these new technologies, and certain students have kind of then shown extra interest to learn about what we're doing as Orchard and Cordial, and now they're really pushing forwards to help and get involved. And it's just that young energy that's just it's awesome. You have this
coming from you, Sash. Blimey, think of us at the other end of the spectrum. Goodness me.
I know, Chris, 28. I feel like an old man.
Well, goodness,
I remember my friend telling me he was turned 26, and I was about 25 at the time, and he said, "Trust me, Sash, you don't understand. When you turn 26, your knees they give out, and you don't know what it's like." And lo and behold, it was fine. But we've got. I mean.
But you're right, though. They bring a vibrancy and a new perspective as well, actually. And they really, they also they're not overly concerned about rank or titles or anything else. They're just asking really critical questions because they've got this great sort of academic mindset at the moment as well, inquiring mind. And
it's the ambition, right?
Really good.
Really ambitious. And one of our students has already made a video where she's put some animations to it explaining what Cordial was, and it just came out of the blue. I mean, Chris, you uploaded it and said, "Guys, what do you think of this?" And I thought, holy shit, this is an animation with Cordial in it. How did this suddenly happen? And it was one of our students, which it's the intuitive nature of going and getting that done, and it was awesome. So actually, I learned something from the video. I was like, holy shit, this is what we're doing. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I'd given her some of our work, so some of the more boring technical aspect of our work, some of the grant application data and stuff, other things. But she went away and just turned that into that animation, and good for her. It looks really great. So I think, just like Elastos did in the early days, I think we are going to probably have to run some competitions for people about, greatest memes and videos and tweets and all that sort of stuff around Cordial. And in fact, I got a really lovely message this morning from an old colleague from the Enter Elastos community, actually. And, big up to Enter Elastos, running 3 supernodes, great team, really clever guys. All working hard for Elastos and have been for 3 years. And actually, they are starting to become interested in what we're doing. And the quote was brilliant, actually. It was just, in fact, we might even use it if we get permission to put it up there. But what an endorsement, though, from someone you really respect like that, when they write and go, "Hey, this is brilliant. This is really big. And I love the idea." So that's good. So that's intern. What else are we doing? Nearly finished raising our seed funding, which is very good. And that's hugely important to us. We're aiming for $300,000. That will get us to the IDO stage and hopefully a little bit further beyond. But the other 2 points you covered already, really, which is the fact that we're looking at the tech stack and how we do that. What was the other one? Something else. I don't know. The media, and with Adam's arrival and the fact that we're going to do videos and animations and everything. So those are covered. I think next week we're going to be looking at community management as a project. How do we do that? What what are our main channels going to be? And I think it's going to be Telegram and Twitter and LinkedIn are the three really big ones. So internally, it'll be Telegram for our close Elastos community members and everything else. We'll probably start to use Discord, I think, as a team, as opposed to Telegram and WhatsApp, which is what we're doing at the moment. Oh, I'd love to use Hyper. That would be cool.
That would be very cool.
But maybe next time. And then LinkedIn and Twitter. I think if we try and go down the Facebook and the Instagram route and everything, we'll just be unstuck this time around because there just aren't enough of us. But we'll capture those who we need from that.
It's funny though. I had my cousin. She's been staying with us, and she's she's Generation Z, younger and very social media savvy, and talking about how popular TikTok is and how the algorithms you can use them in a way which are really to basically grow a profile very fast. So I can see the benefit of us taking some dance classes, Chris, and then before you know it,
you have to do a dance. I don't think you have to do a dance on TikTok, but
you don't actually. I mean, this is what she was saying. So I think the association with TikTok is you do that. Actually, you could have, my cousin talked about how she's got a friend who's deaf and she just does one sign language a day, and it's just a learning place to go learn. You could do cooking, and this is where you see people who are doing cryptos and they're talking about Dogecoin and these other coins. They'll go and talk about that. But actually, for us to talk about what we're doing with Cordial on TikTok might be really beneficial. Just one video a day, and this is what you have in mind.
Well, we never rule anything out.
yeah.
And I think we've got to reach out to, and we've always said actually that we've got to reach out to broader audiences. If you want to grow a project, you can't just talk to the crypto audience. I mean,
exactly.
We're a peculiar bunch as it is, but if you want mass adoption, you need mass audiences.
Yeah, and that's one of our biggest goals, isn't it? How do we make it accessible for all?
Yeah.
But and the last one I think on Cordial before we move on was merchandise. I mean, you've got the Elastos t-shirt there, Chris.
I got my Elastos shirt on. I don't have the Elastos hat with me today. I think my son has stolen it because it's sunny. But yeah, I mean the Cordial logo, and thank you Sash and Ben for what you've done on that, really. But I love the Cordial logo and the new lettering, the new font that we own, and I'd really love to put some of that together. So I was thinking that we need, I started thinking rather dully that we needed some business cards for when we finally meet people. But actually, it'd be much more fun to get a few T-shirts, a hoodie or two, and a couple of caps. But what I'd like to know is, would anyone be interested in, if I get some made up for the team, I could make 20 or so, but would anyone be interested in having them, either winning them or buying them? So I guess it's a question for those people watching, if anybody's watching, is would you enter a competition to win a Cordial cap or a Cordial hoodie or something? Would you like to wear it for us? We would love you to be wearing it. And not only that, if dime and dials, or dials and dial and dimes become what we think they're going to become, and Cordial World Foundation becomes what we think it's going to be, then owning the first version of these, I think, is going to be quite important. They will be NFTs in their own right.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so that's it. We got to take all the tokenomics we've learned, and we're going to create a scarce set of T-shirts, first edition T-shirts. And are you guys interested in buying any of them?
There we go. Yeah,
we'll do it. And I mean, it's just good fun, isn't it? And that's something which we were looking into. But I mean, that's pretty much everything on Cordial. We talked about how, as Orchard, we want to be almost the red hat of the smart web, or Web3, and we want to offer different solutions. And one of the things that we've been helping on is actually with CreDA, and we got invited by the team to help basically be a voice for the international community and just help with our kind of connections and network to see if there's things that we can bring to the table. And one of the things we've been recently doing is helping develop the actual CreDA logo. So we've been busy in the kind of behind the scenes getting that done up, which is, I mean, we're excited to share with you. I won't say exactly what it is yet, but that will probably be unveiled quite soon.
But the final three have gone to Feng, haven't they?
And Feng and the team gave their opinions, and it looks like we're moving ahead with the one which we all actually like the most.
Oh, brilliant.
So we're very happy on that. But refrain from saying anything until it's released, just in case any changes. But yeah, that's been really busy, and CreDA is aiming for end of month release from what we've heard. We're looking like we've got, as far as the on-chain solution has been built, so the idea that you can mine data on your DID or on your on-chain solution and then use the CreDA system to get a credit score, which you can then take out loans without needing collateral, which is kind of the idea of the next step of innovation. Compound last year brought us DeFi, which Builder is a fork of, and then CreDA is going to offer the ability to take out loans without collateral. And I don't know, I believe you are using collateral still, but you're taking that collateral from someone else on the basis.
You're borrowing someone else's, I think, aren't you?
Exactly, which I think then comes from maybe more traditional banking, and it's a way to include them into the mix, because you open up huge capital in traditional banking into a decentralized finance route where people can then use their capital to take out DeFi loans, and it kind of all comes into this big ecosystem that works together. And then there was also I think if you defaulted or you had issues paying back your loans and you weren't timely, your credit score would go down. And it was talked about the other day how you would, in order to bring back your credit score, to raise it back higher again, you could burn credit tokens. Now, I don't know, we need to find out more whether burn means literally burn them and that's them gone, or whether they get taken back into a wallet address and reused. But certainly, I love the idea of if it was burning, because then for everyone who's participating and holding credit tokens, if someone's defaulting and they need to bring back their score, it benefits everyone in the ecosystem that their credit tokens they hold is now becoming more valuable.
Basically, they're having to make everyone else's tokens more valuable to get their own reputation back.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's a lot that we can learn there for that element of Cordial as well, actually, because we want to base that knowledge and the value of your knowledge on your reputation as well. So leveraging your reputation, I think, is going to be increasingly relevant to the DeFi and the decentralized world too.
Yeah.
Well, it's great stuff. I'm really looking forward to seeing that logo come out. I love it. I think it's really good. If it's the one I think it is, then it's going to be great.
It's really nice. And yeah, as you say, I think we're really hoping to have crossovers with CreDA and what we're doing with Cordial too, because actually the whole element of reputation score comes into play with Cordial and connecting to the right people. And actually CreDA is all about having a credit score which you can trust. And even Wrong today posted about feeds and how you could have this system in place where you, in order to post or in order to do certain or to access certain elements of feeds, you need to have third-party verification on your DID for certain credentials, which open up the doors. And in doing so, you then get rid of the bot problem or the spamming issues. So we've still got to figure out how we can include these kinds of technologies into Cordial in a way which is inclusive, so everyone can access it, and you don't want to just only shut off, or you don't want to shut off areas of the world because it's not affordable, but also in a way in which you don't just get spamming of the network and you actually get quality responses. So reputation is a really big one, and CreDA seems like a really important aspect. And their most important element is the CreDA compute, but it's also bringing a wallet together with DIDs so you can accept payments, but also you have your DID for verification. And that's something that we need big time, because we want people to be accepting DAO tokens, accepting payments, but also having control over their DIDs. And I mean, it sounds very super wallet-like, if you ask me.
Yeah, exactly. One of the point in there actually about not disadvantaging anybody, and just being open and inclusive reminded me of another topic that we're going to have to look at next week, which is the ethics of what we're doing as well. So we will do some what I know as red teaming, which is basically playing the opposition as well as yourself. So you have people who are deliberately provocative with the ideas, and one of the things that Adam has suggested we do is look at all of the counter arguments for Cordial, particularly around data privacy and around what you share and how you prevent or do you prevent some of the wrong knowledge, and what is the wrong knowledge, and actually, so we need to just clarify where we all stand on that, because there's an entire spectrum that we can go down, and I think we probably do have to have a position as we move forward. But yeah, anyway, it'll be an interesting debate. We might have to leverage some of our academic colleagues who work in that ethics space to just oversee what we're doing.
Definitely. Well, that's it. We need to mine some knowledge, Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I would be paying for it with Dial if I could.
Well, I completely agree. And everyone in the community listening, if you are, please do share your opinions, question us, scrutinize what we're doing. Head over to cordial.world, check out our website, sign up if you want to enter your email, if you're interested in the IDO or in upcoming news and what's going on. And likewise, our white paper version 1 is there. You can have a read through. It's going to get better and more refined. We've opened everything up to the Elastos community and our friends and family to talk about right now. So any input, we appreciate it and we'd love to hear. And then you're going to, as we talked about last week, you're going to see us start to ramp up in the coming weeks. But we're still in that quite like low key kind of undercover phase where we're just mulling and filling all the dots before we then start to say here we are. But yeah, be very vocal and let us know your thoughts. And I mean, I think that's everything, Chris.
I think that's it. I think, yeah, we've been going for nearly an hour, so
and the
so I think so. I mean, if people are still with us, then congratulations. And maybe what we'll do is put some special giveaways on at the end, just to, and that will either mean people watch the whole thing or they just fast forward it. But
skip to the
yeah, exactly. But again, I mean, as Sash, you put it so well at the end there, in that we are trying to do things in this open and transparent way. We always have done. We've got values and standards that we want to integrate into everything that we build, and we hope to do that right from the beginning. So, we haven't hidden everything completely. We're trying to get feedback from everybody, and we want you, as audience and users, to be part of our journey, to be part of the journey.
Yeah, one of the best use cases I could think to show a feature of Cordial would be we have tickets, and we've just created this new Cordial website with the white paper.
Yeah.
You could attach a ticket to your site that says, you could earn X amount of money. There's 200 or 100 seats available for feedback. You can initiate that ticket with your DID. It starts it up. You then basically fill in a survey of what you thought about the website or what you thought about the vision. That data is then collated, and then it comes to us, and you're rewarded fairly for giving us that information. And then the Cordial actual front end would be where all these tickets spread across loads of different websites come to, and you could actually look on there and find all these different live tickets where you could earn some money for just giving feedback and helping others all across the world with issues that they have. And then you take it a next level deeper, where it's like, well, actually certain tickets need certain criteria, which we then have the AI match with of the DIDs. So for instance, we need graphic designers to give their opinion on the UX, or someone in that field to basically let us know. And then only when you log in do you see those specific tickets. And then you have reputation tickets where you have to give that certain amount of verification to hit those targets in order to open and access other areas. And you just gamify the whole thing. But I'm really in a strong belief that as we navigate as Cordial, we ultimately want to be building something that helps us become more knowledgeable and become
better. Exactly it. Yeah, so I can see exactly that happening. So you talked about releasing your MVPs along the way. And for us, I think that's going to be allowing us to communicate with those that we're already engaged with, so with our audiences, so that we can gain the insights that we need to build better. And every single stage is going to be, okay, bearing in mind what we built last time, let's use that to get more knowledge about what we're now building here. Exactly. And the gamification is definitely going to be in there. So it'll be incentivized for you to have a good reputation score earned fairly, receiving the highest amount of reward you can for your knowledge and expertise, and gaining access to all of that as fairly as possible. And you'll be able to unlock all of these different areas when you get through those gates. And it's gonna be great. I love it already.
The buzz. Oh, Chris, we can go on. We'll go for another hour if we're not careful.
Yeah, exactly.
The sun's shining. Let's go and enjoy our rest of Sunday evenings. And guys, like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts. Share your short thoughts in the comments. And I'll put in the link for the Cordial Telegram, and also cordial.world. Head over and let us know your thoughts again on that. But it's been a pleasure, Chris, and as always, it's always again inspiring and fun to chat about this stuff. It is Sunday.
It is great, yeah. And then we will do the same thing next week. And on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I will publish, what we've done this week as well.
Which, yeah,
thank you very much.
Amazing.
Thanks a lot, Sash. It's been a pleasure chatting, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, and see everyone else next week.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.